where I was born, then my displacement for my lifetime is 0. And then put whatever units you want for 0 meters, and then any angle you want. Speaking of which, if you do have a vector that has a magnitude of 0, such as you're sitting in your car and your car's in park and the engine's off, its velocity is 0 meters per second or miles per hour or whatever units you want to use that are appropriate. But what direction do you do? Because it's a vector. Velocity is a vector. That's the next one we're going to do, or that's coming up soon. What do we do about that? There's something known as a 0 vector. A 0 vector has a magnitude of 0. Yep. It is written as a 0 with a vector symbol over it. And the direction is whatever you want it to be. I haven't gone anywhere. I have a displacement of 0 meters. It doesn't really matter what angle it is. So you can put an angle next to it. I could say 0 meters, 37.1 degrees, which would be the same as 0 meters, 180 degrees, or just write a 0 vector and not have to worry about this part. It's there, but we don't talk about it. And I know, with my example, I got you all hyped up to talk about velocity, but before we do that, our scalar term. For vector terms, there's often a scalar analogy. The scalar term, the scalar analog related, that's similar to displacement, but not the same thing, is known as distance. And the symbol, well, it's a whole lot like displacement, except no vector symbol. Delta X, delta Y, so on. So if I start here at home, I go 3 miles to the right. I go 3 miles east, 4 miles north. My displacement, so where am I relative to where I started? My displacement is 5 meters, and assuming east is 0 degrees, 5 meters, 53 degrees. That's my displacement. The distance I traveled, so displacement, the distance traveled is 7 miles. That should be miles, not meters. Scalar math, you just add them up like you've been doing for a long time. All right, here we go. You've been waiting for it. Build that anticipation. Velocity. If someone is asking you about velocity, we're talking about vectors. The symbol. Where did they come up with this stuff? It's a V with a vector symbol over it.
Why do you have a line over the X in there, but not a line over the X there?
Because this is distance and this is displacement.
Oh.
Displacement, where am I relative to where I started? Distance, how far did it actually travel? What's the car odometer say?
Yep.
All right, so velocity, the time rate of change of displacement of position, or mathematically, change in position over change in time, or displacement divided by time. Technically, this is average velocity. You do not get a speeding ticket for your velocity. speeding tickets. For what? Yes, like you mean it.
Because of your speed.
Yes. That's the scalar. I don't know if any of you have gotten pulled over for that, but he never talks about, you were going east at 40 miles an hour. It's just, you're going 40. Actually, the first question to me was, do you know how fast you're going? To which I responded, I'm guessing faster than the speed limit. Let me off with a warning. Fortunately, I was not a teenager at the time. The symbol is basically the same as over there, except no vector symbol. So the symbol for speed is a V. This sometimes confuses students because they think V velocity, but remember, velocity is a vector, speed, scalar. Now, there's going to be a series of problems, and I recognize we are really low on time here. There's a series of problems where I'm going to ask, what is the displacement? What is the velocity? And one of the questions is, are you talking about instantaneous velocity, in other words, velocity at that moment, or are you talking about the average velocity? So sort of default language. If I just say, what is the displacement? I'm talking about the overall. So default overall displacement. Where am I relative to when I started the problem? Velocity, if I ask what's the velocity, default is instantaneous. What's the velocity at this one moment in time? Instantaneous. Yeah. So if I want displacement at an instant, or actually between two consecutive instants, I need to specify that instantaneous displacement, or if I want average velocity, I need to specify average velocity. I'm going to throw up the last two words, introducing one vocabulary word and two meanings. The next one is acceleration.
Is that vector or what is it?
And it's also the scalar word too. And the way you tell the difference is by the symbol. So if you're reading a textbook and or doing a textbook problem and it asks you for the acceleration and it doesn't specify, textbooks, odds are they're talking about the vector one, but not always. On tests and quizzes and so forth, I try to, after I use the word acceleration, I will put either the A with the vector symbol or A without, just so you know which one I'm talking about. It would be really nice if they came up with different words, but they didn't. So here we are. This acceleration is the change in speed over change in time. Speed is the change in, or it's the distance traveled over time. Velocity, or acceleration, is the change in velocity over change in time. And so I'll leave you with this question. As you are driving a car, what are the three accelerators that you have access to? From a physics point of view, what are the three accelerators as a driver?
Your time.
If you can control time like that, wow, that's impressive. I'm talking about three physical things in the car that would be accelerators.
Oh, the stick shift. No.
Let's make it automatic, just no changing of gears. So what's someone saying? All right, there's one.
The brake.
Pardon? The what? Sorry.
It's okay.
If you watch the videos, you know my hearing's not great. And if you've actually seen me in class, you know my hearing's not great. So just loudly and confident. Don't care if you're wrong or not. Just, I had a student who was somewhere on the spectrum, talked like this. I heard it. I heard everything he said. I appreciated that part. All right. All right, brake's another one, that's two. And the third one?
Steering wheel.
Yes.
Yes.
Because velocity is how fast you're going in what direction. It's a vector, so if you change directions, you are accelerating. And the implications for that are, if you're accelerating, there has to be a net force acting on you, and that is chapter 4. Kristen?
Quiz next week, we're gonna be on chapter 1.
Yep. And there's no master set for chapter 1, I'm sorry.
No.
And don't forget, lab is due on Wednesday. At some point, I'll put a sheet up somewhere with sophisticated when things are due.
Is that the only thing that is due when I do that?
For,
Is that the only thing that is due when
yes, I think so. If you want more?
No.
And if everyone in here watches all the chapter 2 videos, we can sit through chapter 2 really quickly. There's a dream that we can actually, with sufficient time, complete all the material the state wants us to complete. In detail. It's a crazy dream.
It's never happened in math class.
I've had one math class where we actually finished the book. That was geometry.
When I think of like a math class, I always think of a meme that I see. It's sure this guy in SpongeBob, like he walks in, first day of class, we're already behind. Pretty much is what it's in math class.
That's the way it's felt. And after, wait a second, we've been in school 3 days now, 2 days.
I'm going to.
Have a nice weekend, everyone. Hey.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, for, what this time?
For taking me from the wolves.
Ah, certainly.
Yeah, thank you.
I thought you were gone by now.
This is December.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.